Today we're going to do a shattered value drawing where we're going to practice using different values in a gradient effect. Now remember, value is the fourth element of art after line, shape, and color. And value means simply the lightness and darkness of something. Now, artists use different values ranging from black, dark gray, medium grays, and white to create a 3D effect, because every object that is a three-dimensional object will always have some light hitting it and will always create some sort of shadow. So in order to practice creating different values, but in a gradient meaning when the values blend from darkest into lightest, we are going to be doing this with our shattered abstract drawings. So in order to do this project, what you are going to need is at least one sheet of white paper. You're going to need a ruler and a pencil, preferably a pencil that has been sharpened and has an eraser. That's all you really need. So in order to get started, what we're going to do is you can lay down your paper any way that you want to, and we're going to create 10 different lines. Now you can choose to make all of your lines straight lines, starting from one edge of the paper, ending to the another edge, or if you'd like, you can incorporate even some wavy lines to create a different effect. It's completely up to you. But we're gonna draw 10 lines, and your goal is to have the lines start from one edge of your paper and go all the way to another edge. So all the way across. So you can either use a ruler or you can freehand it, but I'm gonna get out my ruler because I'm gonna do mostly straight lines. And again, I'm just drawing 10 lines in different areas that will go from one edge of the paper to another. So I'll draw my first one. I'll find a different angle and area to do my next one. 2. Now you can do yours in any which way. I'll pick a different angle, something different. Let's say here. 3. Maybe I'll do one wavy line. 4. 5. 6. 7. Maybe another wavy line. 8. Maybe another one. 9. And one last one. 10. Notice all my lines started from one edge of the paper and went all the way till it hit the other edge of the paper. Okay, so now that I have my paper with my 10 lines, notice how the lines have broken up my pieces of paper into smaller shapes. Remember, shape simply means when a line goes around and is fully enclosed. So now I have all these different sort of irregular or organic shapes all the way around my paper. Now my goal is within each shape, I want to create a gradient of all the values. Now remember, gradient meaning going from black, blending into dark gray, blending into medium gray, into a light gray, and white. So in order to do this, I'm gonna pick an enclosed shape. I'll just start with one random one. How about this one? On one side of my shape, I'm gonna first start creating shading in with my black. So I'm gonna press really hard with my pencil as I'm shading it in, going back, forth, making sure that my there's barely any white space. Now, I have pressed really, really hard, but as I'm going along, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press lighter and a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter. That way, my pencil will go from very dark to getting a little bit lighter as well. So as I'm going down, I'm pressing down really hard as I can. But then as I go along, I'm going to press a little lighter. And I'm going to even press a little bit lighter than that. I'm going to go on and press barely light. And towards the end, I'm barely pressing down at all, so that towards the end, it becomes a very, very light gray, and at the end is white. Now I can take my finger and do a sneaky trick where I rub my finger back and forth onto the graphite, and that's gonna blend my pencil even more so that it gets that really beautiful smooth gradient effect. See that? Now, if you notice, hey, wait a minute, it looks like it went from black to like a medium gray. What you can do is, if anything looks a little disjointed, in order to make it more blended, you can even go over it again and do layers on top if you need something to be darker. Okay, so I'm gonna try to put one more layer on top here so that it looks a little bit more blended. A bit darker. If you've noticed, oh wait a minute, I've made it too dark all the way to the end and I'm missing my white and light gray, what you can do is you can take your pencil and just erase away anything that looked too dark. Okay, so I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna pick a different shape. I'll go to the next one right next to it. Now, because I started this shape with black in this corner, what I want to do is I don't want to start this side of my new shape with black as well, because then it will just start looking exactly like the one right next to it. So if the black is on this side of the shape right next to it, for my next shape, I'm going to do it on the other side. So black will be here, but for my next shape, I'm going to put it on the other side, meaning I'm going to start with black at the bottom. So any corner you want to start off with, doesn't really matter. I'm just going to, again, press down, shading in back and forth, trying to stay within my lines, but yet try to fill in as much white space as possible. Pressing down really hard as I can, but right about now I'm going to start pressing down a little bit lighter. I'm going to ease my pressure up to get that dark gray. As I'm going along, I'm going to ease my pressure up even more to create that medium gray. And as I'm going along, I'm going to start pressing even lighter until towards the end I'm barely pressing down at all, leaving some space for the white. Now notice some of my corners still have some white space on it, so what you can do is you can just go in and fill in those little spaces so it looks a little bit more seamless. There we go. Okay, now that I have this shape filled in, I can again take my finger, give it a little bit of a rub so that the graphite blends in. And there we go. If I'm missing my white because I blended it too much to the edge, remember you can take that eraser and lightly erase away to make your value of your graphite a little bit lighter. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to go into warp speed to show you how to fill in each one of these shapes with that gradient effect. Okay, so I have filled in each one of these little shapes with the gradient of the whole value scale. So notice how even the teeny tiniest little shapes, I started on any corner or any side with my black, pressing down really hard, getting into my dark gray, using up my pressure, medium gray, light gray, and even white. So look around your paper, find each enclosed section, find a side to start off with, your black that is different from the shape right next to it, and pretty soon, once you've filled in your entire paper, you're gonna have this really cool kind of shattered glass effect. Okay, well, I hope that you have fun with this project, and I can't wait to see yours.